All right. I don't know if Stefan or Ankit are going to join us today, but so how are you guys doing?
Good.
Good.
I'm good. I didn't think I'd be able to join at all, but it worked out that I still got up at the same time and I have a decent internet connection. I'm at a hotel. I'm at one of my very good friends' weddings was yesterday and this weekend. But I still managed to wake up from my 9 o'clock Saturday morning somehow, and I'm here. So.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, thanks for joining. Yeah. So, anything new to report over the week? Anything you want to share?
I really haven't done much of anything this week because I didn't even think I'd be at this meeting. So not so much for me, but I've just been continuing looking at some of the papers and stuff.
Yeah. How about you, Ziyi? Have you...
Yeah, so in my lab, I kind of started a new project, which is to adapt the concept of brain-bird vehicle. So to simulate the behaviors of say bacteria, like responses to chemical intensity. And the PI wanted me to build a model of the bacteria and then make it more and more complex. And finally, the desired output is going to be a model that can shows the ideal, say, traveling and stuff of mice.
Oh, wow.
Sitting over distances. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what kind of, are you using the program that you developed over the summer, or are you using a different program?
I basically used the structure of the thing I developed during the summer, but currently I'm trying to use genetic algorithm to optimize, because I gave up the connection stuff. I just used the brain-bird vehicle. I used the motor I developed during the summer, and I also used some function structures and stuff like that. I code all of them in C right now. So because I want to use genetic algorithm to optimize some sort of parameters, because I code a decision tree in a brain-bird vehicle. So like if the stimulus is increasing significantly, then do what? And yeah. So I want to optimize those probabilities of going forward, backward, random, and also optimize the step size, which is kind of like the speed that Stefan used during the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also like a threshold of what is significant increase, what is significant decrease. So the threshold is also variable. So I'm trying to using genetic algorithm to optimize those 8 variables right now, and that's going to be the first step. And also after that, I'm going to show it to my PI and to see what's the next step to make it more complex.
Okay.
The first step is more like chemosenses of bacteria.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the PI wanted me to make it more and more like the older staging of mice. So probably in the future, I'm going to introduce like the nose direction, because mouse can the mouse nose can move like in some directions, and also probably introduce factors and variables that controls the movements of nose and stuff like that. So currently, the lab is building a more complex model than me. Yeah. So they're currently encoding the nose movements of mouse and the other more complex variables. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna firstly finish my optimization of those variables.
Yeah, and then go on to the bigger stuff. Well, that's pretty good. Yeah, I wish you luck on that. You'll have to give us updates on it. It's interesting. Yeah, I mean, like a lot of people, you know, they basically used Bratenberg vehicles in a certain way for a long time. A lot of the robotics people use them, and then, you know, there were a couple of papers here and there on evolving the bodies of the vehicles, but like, you know, squarely into the cognitive simulations. That's, you know, and even like in some aspects of behavior that aren't like driven by developing robots. It's, yeah, there's a pretty wide open field there. Yeah, so that's good though. And then, so you were also talking about the retina project that you were sort of starting.
So I talked to my professor a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
And so regarding the spacing of horizontal cells, that is like the spacing of different filters applying to the image, because the retina is like say different size of filters applying to the region of the retina. So regarding the layout, spatial layout of those horizontal cells, I mentioned like a couple of genes that controls the spacing, the layout of horizontal cells in real animals, and the professor wanted me to read more about that and to like see if I can get any inspiration from real animals instead of just like like just thinking.
Yeah. Yeah, there's probably a fair amount of data. I don't know if, like, you know, in papers often they'll report, you know, they'll have like different tables that you can find, especially in the supplemental materials, that might give you some guides to that. It's, you know, it's a little bit tricky. You might have to go through a couple of papers and see what you can find. But then, you know, there's a method for like kind of approximating you know, these sorts of variables. You might even do it from microscopy data if you can find you know, like a paper with supplemental materials where they image the retina and then look at, you know, like the spatial distribution of things in it. So we did a paper in the Diva Worm group on, we had a hand-drawn image of it's a structure in the developing Drosophila, which is a fruit fly. It's one of the discs that becomes the eye, and so they have these. Drosophila have this eye where it's like consists of ommatidia, which are not necessarily like the retina, but it's very similar. Where you have like, you know, you have a bunch of structures that are spaced out across a a field. And so, you know, we were able to like take that image and match it up with microscopy images and what's been learned from that, and then been able to overlay it onto a, you know, and then find like the distances between things, between structures. So I mean, it's a little bit of work, but you know, it's possible to do. I don't know what happened to Jesse. Dropped off. So yeah, so let me talk about the paper here. Let's see. I'm going to share my screen. There we go. So this is the paper. I was kind of going through it. So again, this is the worked on the introduction a bit more, motivation, the neurodevelopment. So I mean, there are different sections basically we have to flesh out for this. You know, like getting the references together. Some incomplete sentences in here, but I'll flesh those out. And then we'll do the results. And this is where everyone's contributions are going to come in handy, especially like in the software instantiations. So like, you know, to have like a section that describes the software, maybe demo, a little bit of a demo, what it can do. And then, you know, maybe some thoughts about the, maybe the future uses or plans for it. Like in your case, it would be like the software that you developed, maybe show a couple of screenshots or, you know, explain, you know, how you might look at some problem. And then, you know, in the future, maybe like, you know, could be used for, well, you know, projects that, maybe some of the projects you're working on in your, at Pitt. So that's basically what we'd need from that. And then, you know, I'd get the same from Stefan and maybe from Ankit. And then I mentioned to Jesse that, you know, we could work on a section further up too. That would be helpful. So it's,
I'll send you my GitHub link, and there, actually I wrote like some sort of, you know, summary or some texts in there. So probably you'll see like how much information I'm going to add upon that. I think that is like a very basic, you know, basis for the summary I'm going to give you.
Okay. Yeah, I'll look it over, and yeah, I think, yeah, let me know when you, well, I guess we could do it by just say, yeah, just say when you, like, you know, put in GitHub terms when I should make well, you would make a pull request to me, but like, it would be basically when you're ready.
Just go down and see. Yeah.
Yeah.
The README stuff.
Okay.
Sorry?
The README file here?
Yeah. The README of this page. No. Yeah.
Okay, that one. Yeah. Okay, yeah, so that's good. And then, you know, fill that out a little bit. Introduction. Okay, olfactory system. Very good. It looks good. I like the, yeah. So we can just copy the image here. Yeah, we have the images for, because usually when you write papers, you have to do some formatting of the images, and but and then gustatory system, associative memory, and then yeah, we have the equations, which is very good. What had you render the equations and?
Sorry.
How did you render the equations? Oh, it's just an image. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You just use like latex and then copy an image over here.
Okay. Technical support, future plans. Put the train BV in a new testing environment.
No, that was like the future plan before, but right now I don't know.
Well, yeah, we'll talk about that later. Yeah, because that's like, you know, and it might be like we might, yeah. Well, yeah, we'll talk about it later. It's kind of hard to know because like you think about it and you're like, oh, you're having a good idea or some opportunity that comes up.
Yeah.
So I like this image of this screenshot here. It's nice. It's got a, you know, a nice summary of everything. So, you know, we'll use that definitely. Possible implementation. Okay, yeah, so this is good. So we talked about before about the use cases, but that may or may not make sense. This actually looks good. So we have more complex senses, or more than 2 senses, more than one BV and BV interactions. Another possible solution: apply genetic algorithms or other kinds to optimize the network structure. So we can, and then we can integrate that with like Stefan's work, talking about his genetic algorithm variant. And then we have acknowledgements and the Google Summer code and that. Then the references. So yeah, you've got a lot of good references. Yeah, it's definitely good. Nature Communications, +1. Yeah, it's very good. So yeah, let me know when you're ready for me to like do a first pass on it. Like I'll just go over it I guess maybe I'll go over it first, and then tell you maybe where we want to add, and then at some point we'll merge it into the document.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
good. Well, thanks a lot. You're on top of that.
Thank you.
Yeah, could you? I kind of missed the introduction to that paper. Is that sort of
no,
that your own paper?
Not a paper.
So yeah, Jesse. So I was showing Ziyi. Remember the paper we talked about last week?
Yes.
So this is just I showed you an outline last week. It was barely.
Definitely.
Yeah, but I fleshed it out a bit more this week. So I got the introduction and motivation and neurodevelopment. And then, suitability. So we're kind of like, going through the introduction of things. Now, neurodevelopment and brain networks. And then we have like a results section, which is like a general computational model where we kind of consider what all of the models that we've talked about have in common. And then we have a section on software instantiations. And then this part here, which is just kind of a placeholder title, is where Ziyi is going to contribute stuff on his work. And so he was showing me that he has it all assembled here in a GitHub repo in the README.
Oh, cool.
So he's got it all sort of outlined and written out. So he's got a lot of it put together. And this is just stuff that he's been working on over the summer. So it's like getting out all your notes in order and putting them into a section. And then we'll merge it into the main document when he's ready. And then we'll do the same for Stefan. And then we talked about, for your contribution to this, so we talked a little bit maybe about putting some contribution in this general section of the computational model. We could also have a separate section for something that you want to contribute.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's up to you how you want to do it. Yeah, it's pretty flexible at this point because I'm just trying to explain it and, like, the results are kind of like, what we did over the summer. So it's not like we have like formal experiments or anything. But I think, yeah, you could definitely contribute as like some sort of, either in a general model sense or like, if you wanted to talk a little bit about game theory or develop something in that area, I mean, it's up to you.
Okay, yeah. Is that version of the drafts something we have access to, or?
Let's see. Should I have the share? Let's see what it looks like. So I will get the shareable link, and I will. Anyone can. Just edit, and then we'll copy the link, and I can also put this on Slack too.
Okay. No, I think the paper's really. I'm happy to see it. I'm happy to see the different parts of it coming together.
Yeah, yeah. So, and then the references are, I mean, this is going to expand. Ziyi's got some good references to add, and so even references too would be helpful if you had some good ones that we could incorporate into the paper. Because, I mean, there's always stuff we're missing, I guess.
Okay.
As for where it might be presented, I'm not really sure yet, or where it might be submitted to. It could be like, because we don't have like formal experiments, it could be like an education journal, like a computer science education or something. It could also be like maybe something general, like +1. It could be like they're even like computational journals, like simulation and modeling journals that might be suitable, in depending on the format of the paper. Like when you submit to a journal, they have different categories that you can submit to. Yeah. So like you have full research papers and then comments, but they all have different requirements, and so it might, depending on the formats in the journal, it might be submitted to a more general journal. But we can talk about that later.
Interesting.
Yeah. Okay. So, in terms of our conversation last week, Jesse, I haven't.
Oh
Yeah, I've thought a little bit about it, but I don't have any concrete thoughts right now on.
yeah, that's totally fine. I really, and this is kind of at a weaker pause for me ultimately.
Yeah.
But I, I saw in the sync you posted a bunch of papers, and I really want to dive into all of those. I think that will help me a lot. And as far as specifically about the group paper, yeah, I would definitely like to add some of the context to it, and I'll see about you know I'll see what will fit with the different like subsections in the paper. But I have a few different things that I'll think about for that.
Okay. Yeah. So.
I think there'll be more conversation with that on Slack than like at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, a lot of the stuff I put in is like stuff on like the background for like connectomes and the motivation, and then but then we don't really have a lot on like like brain. Well, I guess we're gonna like I haven't gotten to the brain networks part, which is probably important. So, but do we still need like kind of a bridge to I don't know, like a computational model? So like we go from like the motivation in real connectomes, and then we go to the thing about like computational models. And like I guess the motivation I'm thinking of here is that it's hard to really study connectomes in the wild. We have some like for C. elegans and for Drosophila and other organisms like that, and then we have like some methods for looking at the human and mouse brain, but that's like that's a different sort of approach. But like especially for development, there's no good way to really kind of assess, especially in terms of real time behavior, what the connectome looks like or how it might operate. So, there's that, but then you go right into the computational model. And so actually I was thinking maybe some of the model stuff from the cybernetics stuff, literature would be, such as it is. I mean, there's not that much there, but would be a good segue there.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that. That's good. Even if I'll have to make a note of that if there's notes in the paper, or I want to keep that in mind when I'm thinking about that for sure.
Okay. Yeah.
Put this here.
Okay. So anything else you want to talk about today, or?
I'm probably good. I'm writing a note on my phone about what we just spoke of.
Okay, that's good. How about you, Ziyi? Anything else you want to add, or?
Nope.
Okay. Well, if that's all, then thanks for meeting this week.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, hopefully maybe next week Stefan will show up and we'll talk about the paper a little bit more, and maybe we'll do a presentation. I might do a presentation actually. So, okay. Actually, Ziyi, you said you're taking machine learning.
Yeah, that's a math course.
Yeah, so I'm actually doing this DivaWorm ML thing. I don't know if you've seen. I sent an email or two out about it.
Yes.
I mean.
Currently I'm running 2 projects right now.
Well, I mean, what I'm doing is I'm putting the references online, like in GitHub. So I might run through some of that next week, just as a way to kind of double dip meetings too. But like you know, we have some interesting stuff going on. So maybe I'll update the group on that even. It might be useful to use Ziyi.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, well, have a good week. And we'll talk next week. And if you have anything to bring up during the week, put it on Slack or email.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, talk to you guys later. Yeah.
Last week.
Right,
Take care, everybody.
Okay, bye.